of the mic. Out of the mercy of Allah is the law written in our nature. We call an individual into existence, and when that individual comes, I make no apology for what I'm about to say. Running the real, you're gonna stand still. Obey your case, so let the man build. Words of rapture that you have to get, and I just slap you with a handful of literature. This dope fresh hype choice move.
Peace, family.
You must be on freebase, smoking or joking, bound to be broken. Get your damn hands off the mic that I'm choking. Cause I got a stranglehold, still cold over room for the road to stone. Rhymes that you yell out, but you didn't sell out. Crossed over, lost over here, and I get the hell out. I'm not a pop star, rock and roller, I'm a rebel, blessed, able to hold up, on the hammer, and drop grammar, treat them like a wrestler, and body slammer. Old school speak, get treated just like a prostitute, and get the boom blade like a flute, so just play me. Don't even whisper. Your mouth to speak, and I'm a dish of rag to your door. Put you in the morgue because you're ready to bet and not ready to rock steady. In other words, you're half stepping, tiptoeing, kick going.
What Big Daddy came.
It's not a 9 to Uzi or a shotgun. When it comes to hype bombs, I got one, just like the albums.
All right, peace, family. We want to cover tonight. I came live tonight because I'm gonna cover some history. I'm gonna see how many people come in tonight when I actually talk history. When I'm talking that news talk, people come in, man. They come in and listen, man. We want to talk about Black inventors tonight. I want to last time Unc was on, I talked about a lot of different scientists and different that was instrumental in groundbreaking technologies. And I said that I was going to come back with it. So I want to come back tonight. I want to talk about some obscure inventors because I want the public to know that we listen. There's a lot of history that we don't know that's not being taught. You know, we spend a lot of time talking about things that went on 3,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, instead of talking about North American Negro history today. We was at the forefront of a lot of groundbreaking technological advances, but we're not being told our story. You know, we invented a lot of shit, man, a lot of shit that's used today, but the white man put a stamp on it, and they portray us a certain way in the media, so we don't see ourselves as great. We don't see ourselves as a people that can create such things that's essential to our growth and development today. So I'm gonna cover some stuff, man. I'm gonna get right into it. I'm gonna go over some stuff for people that will see my video, and they would begin to know, like, man, listen, a lot of this scientific technology, man, Black people was in the labs. We was the ones inventing, creating the shit. We was the ones bringing the groundbreaking discoveries. But these are things that's not being told to us. You know, and it's not, the thing is, it's not the enemy's job. It's not the enemy's job to teach you about you. It's our job. It's our job to go do the research and then teach our children about us. So I want to get right into it, man, because I'm not going to be here all night. I'm gonna jump right into it. We're gonna talk this talk. Hold on, wait a minute. I want to talk about this man here, Percy Julian. Now, as I go forward in this speech, like I was saying, our people was at the forefront of these great groundbreaking technologies. I think that we do ourselves a disservice today because we don't teach our people this history. Like in the conscious community, we don't talk about none of this stuff, man. Everything is about how, I ain't gonna say that, I'm gonna keep that to myself. Everything is about debating religion, but we don't get to the point where we actually teaching our people real history. This is something that we're not doing, and we're doing our people a disservice when we do this. So I'm going to talk about Percy Julian. Percy Julian was an African American chemist, right? African American chemist Percy Julian was a pioneer in chemical synthesis of medical drugs such as cortisone, steroids, and birth control pills, right? Who was Percy Julian? Born in 1899, pioneering chemist, was not allowed to attend high school, but went on to earn a PhD. His research at academic and corporate institutions led to the chemical synthesis of drugs to treat glaucoma and arthritis. And although his race presented challenges at every turn, he is regarded as one of the most influential chemists in American history. Now, the thing is, when you hear George read something like that, how come we don't have generational wealth? But see, me reading this just lets you know how much the white man is the devil. Because they can come out today and tell you about a man named Percy Julian and how groundbreaking and instrumental he was and influential he was in the chemistry world. But yet and still, we was never allowed to pass down any generational wealth. Because as I proceed forward, I'm going to read you a whole host. I'm going to read a whole host of Black people that was instrumental in groundbreaking findings that should have generated billions of dollars for the Black community. So now you saying that this man was he actually created chemical synthesis for medicinal drugs such as cortisone. So he's responsible for cortisone, steroids, and birth control. All three things that's worth billions of dollars in on the market today. This Black man right here was at the forefront of it. And this proves that the white man is the devil. And this right here lets us know that there's really no such thing as white science. There's a such thing as manipulated science. Science, the narrative of science is being manipulated by white supremacy. And they're putting us to the back of the line. Born in 1899, pioneering chemist Percy Julian was not allowed to, oh yeah, I read that part. Percy Levon Julian was born in 1899 in Montgomery, Alabama, the grandson of former slaves. He attended school through 8th grade, but there were no high schools open to Black students. So now he attended high school, right? Well, no, it says he attended school through 8th grade, but there were no high schools open to Black students. But he still was able to be at the forefront of groundbreaking chemistry. That's something else. So that right there tells you something about school. How school is a sham. You just got to place kids in areas where they excel. He applied to DePaul University in Greencastle, Indiana, where he had to take high school level classes in the evening to get him up to the academic level of his peers. In spite of his challenging beginnings, he graduated first in his class with Phi Beta Kappa honors. After college, Julian accepted a position as a chemist instructor at Fisk University. He left in 1923 when he received a scholarship to attend Harvard University to finish his master's degree. Though the university would not allow him to pursue his doctorate, he traveled several years teaching at Black colleges before obtaining his PhD at the University of Vienna in Austria in 1931. With his doctorate in hand, he returned to DePaul to continue his research. In 1935, he earned international acclaim by synthesizing photogeminine for the caliber beam to create a drug treatment for glaucoma. But in spite of his success, the university refused to make him a full professor because of his race. And this right there is just lets you know just how much the devil is and how much they stole. So he's telling you that he earned international acclaim by synthesizing phytogeminine from the caliber bean to create a drug treatment for glaucoma. A Black man did this shit, man. This is insane. And because of race at the time, because of his race at the time, he was not able to become a full-blooded professor. But the reason why they did that to him, because they wanted to steal the technology and put their name on it. Made a career. Despite desiring to leave academia, Julian applied for jobs in prominent chemical companies, but was repeatedly rejected when hiring managers discovered that he was black. Ultimately, he obtained a position at Glidden Company as the lab director. There he invented, and here we go again, more inventions. There he invented Aerofoam, a product that uses soy protein to put out, look at this shit, a product that uses soy protein to put out oil and gas fires, and was widely used in World War II, as well as as well as other soybean-based inventions. So this man should have been a billionaire many times over. And I can cover so many black people and let me tell you something. We should be running this nation. And this right here, this is why I tell you that we are special people in the Americas, from the Aboriginal to the ones they brought here on the shores of those slave ships. We are a chosen special people, and everybody lives off of us, man. Everybody lives off of our spirituality. Technologies are made off of our spirituality. The problem is our story is not being told. It's not being told by the devil, and it's not being told by our own sellout people, agents, that come into our community and distract us with bullshit and not teaching us our real history of our real people. Julian continued his biomedical work as well and discovered how to extract steroids from soybean oil and synthesize the hormone progesterone and testosterone. He was also lauded for his synthesis in cortisone, which became used for the treatment of rheumatoid arthritis. Man, this is insane. This is insane. Like, this man was amazing. I gotta go back up for the people that's watching right now. I gotta give y'all his name again. His name was Percy Julian. This man was amazing. I mean, this was a black man. A black man did this. I mean, living the way that we live, you would never think by the way that we're treated that a black man would be at the forefront of these groundbreaking technologies. Peace, Russell. Peace, Shaka. You would never think that a black man would be at the forefront of these groundbreaking technologies. Now, Julian left Glidden in 1953 to establish his own laboratory. Julian Laboratories in 1954. He sold the company in 1961, becoming one of the first black millionaires before funding Julian Research Institute, a nonprofit organization that he ran for the rest of his life. He died of liver cancer on April 19, 1975. Let's get to his recognition. Julian was the first black chemist elected to the National Academy of the Sciences. So I want y'all to remember that. This man, Percy Julian, was the first black chemist elected to the National Academy of the Sciences in 1973. In 1990, he was elected to the National Inventors Hall of Fame. In 1999, his synthesis of physotogenamine was recognized by the American Chemical Society as one of the top 25 achievements in the history of American fucking chemistry. His family should be billionaires. This government owe his family millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars for his developments and the things that he's brought to humanity. This was done by the North American Negro. I want people to understand this. The North American Negro brought this technology. Let's go down. This is him in the lab. This is a picture of the black man in the lab. In 1950, Julian and his family moved to Oak Park, Illinois after they purchased their home. But before they moved in, the house was firebombed on Thanksgiving Day. It was attacked again in June 1951. And the sad part is all the technological advances that this black man was bringing to humanity, the white man is so bad that he would not even tell people, so that way this man could be lauded and be protected for his efforts. He was bringing technological advances for humanity. He still was being bombarded by racist white devils. You know, and this just goes to show you what our ancestors had to go through and their struggles. Let's get to let's see. Let's get to somebody else. I wanna go to somebody else. Let's go to excuse me. Let's go to James. Let's go to James Edward West McKayo. And watch this. The work of James Edward McKayo was transformed. West transformed the way people around the world hear and transmit sound. Uh-oh. Now see, here we go. Now this is another black man. Now I'm gonna read that opening sentence again. The work of James Edward McKayo West transformed the way people around the world hear and transmit sound. We all, every day we're using technology where we hear and transmit sound. Why isn't this man a billionaire, a multi-billionaire? In 1962, West, then a research scientist at Bell Laboratories, developed the foil-electric microphone in partnership with his colleague, Dr. Gerald M. Sessler. Now, Dr. Gerald M. Sessler was a German. Most likely he didn't do it. Most likely this black man did it, but he was working in his lab. And because he was working in his lab, Dr. Sessler most likely put his name on it. Until that time, most microphones which transform sound with the electric signal needed a cumbersome or expensive battery in order to operate. By contrast, West and Sessler used the electric, and in their case, Teflon. To drive the sound conversion. Electrics are materials that can be permanently charged or polarized following exposure to an electric field. The foil electric microphone saves space and money to improve, quite sensitive to sound as well. It improved hearing aids. Now, how many people around the world got hearing aids? So he created a technology that improved hearing aids. For instance, allowing those wearing them to take a walk without painful vibrations. The technology has also been used to aid with blood pressure readings and in the U.S. space program. It is now the standard in cell phones, computers, hearing aids, audio recording equipment. Now, why isn't this man worth trillions and trillions of dollars? That would be the question. Born February 10, 1931 in Farmville, Virginia, West had an interest in science from an early age. While still in elementary school, he inadvertently shocked himself while plugging in the radio. Rather than frightening him, however, the experience only heightened his desire to learn about technologies and its applications. Within a few years, West had that opportunity wiring homes for electricity as an assistance to an older relative. West's parents, Samuel Edward and Matilda, had a variety of professional jobs during his childhood. His father, for example, operated a funeral home and sold insurance, while his mother worked as a teacher at Langley Air Force Base. A leader in the local NAACP, Matilda West lost her job at the base during the McCarthy era as a result of her organizing activities. For most of his life, West had an interest in politics. He read W.E.B. Du Bois growing up, and in college attended meetings at the Black Panther Party. At work, he was known for speaking his mind, and I bet he was going to those Black Panther parties. And in the midst and speaking his mind in the 70s, co-founded the Association of Black Laboratories Employees, ABLE, at Bell Laboratories. Wow, look at this head, man. See, this is the stuff our people need to be knowing. Young black boys need to be taught this kind of stuff, man. We need this information being disseminated out to our people. After completing high school, West's family expected him to pursue higher education in a traditional field like medicine, education, law, or ministry. West, however, had other ideas. Though he began college at Hampton University in Virginia as a pre-med student, he changed course after serving in the military. During the Korean War, after being discharged, he enrolled at Temple University in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, earning a BS in physics in 1957. Following graduation, West began to work as a scientist in the acoustic research department of Bell Laboratories in Murray Hill, New Jersey. one of only a small number of African Americans then employed by the research firm. During the late 50s and 60s, West and Sessler partnered to develop what would become the foil electric microphone, initially charged with investigating the mechanics of human hearing more generally. West and his colleagues first made use of the old-style battery-operating microphones. Through trial and error and even luck, their research led to the study of electrics and ultimately the realization that the new material of Teflon could function superbly as an electric, allowing for the transfer of sound to electrical signal. The U.S. patent for the foil electric microphone is 3,118,022 and was issued on January 14, 1964. West spent more than 40 years at Bell Laboratories and holds, look at this, man, look at this, and holds over 200 U.S. and foreign patents. When he retired in 2001, the company named him a Bell Laboratories. The company named him a Bell Laboratories Fellow, its highest honor. Soon after, he joined the facility of Johns Hopkins University, serving as a professor in the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering. West is a member of the National Academy of Engineering and has been inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame. He is a fellow of both the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineering and the Acoustic Society of America, and holds honorary doctorates from Michigan State University and the New Jersey Technology. In 2006, he was awarded the National Medal of Technology by President George W. Bush. The medal, the nation's most prestigious award of technological innovations. Man, this is crazy, man. I've never heard. I don't hear people in the conscious community actually talking about these people. You know, we're not covering this stuff. We're not, and the reason why I'm saying this is we're not teaching our boys this information. We're not teaching our girls this information. We're talking about stuff that went on 5,000 years ago. And this is North American Negro history right here on the shores, right here on these shores. And we're not covering it. I'm gonna get into this to Alice Ball, Alice Augusta Ball. Now let's get into Alice Augusta Ball. Because we are a special and brilliant people, man. Alice Augusta Ball, born 1892 to 1916, so she died young. Alice Augusta Ball, a pharmaceutical chemist, was born in Seattle, Washington in 1892 to Laura and James P. Ball, Jr. Her grandfather was J.P. Ball. J.P. Ball, the well-known Dorgett type photographer, and her father was a promising lawyer. J.P. Ball Sr. moved to Hawaii for health reasons in 1903 with his family and opened a studio. He died less than a year later, and the family returned to Seattle in 1905. Wow. Alice Ball entered the University of Washington and graduated with 2 degrees in pharmacy and pharmaceutical chemistry. In y'all understand what's being said here? The majority, this is our people. We was at the groundbreaking. We was at the floor of the chemistry world. Black people was. We was in these labs. White man. You know, let me just keep reading, man. Let me just keep reading. Alice Ball entered the University of Washington. Okay, yeah, she graduated. In the fall of 1904, she entered the College of Hawaii. Later, the University of Hawaii as a graduate student in chemistry. On June 1st, 1950, and she was the first African American and the first woman to graduate with a master's. Okay, now watch this. On June 1st, 1915, she was the first African American and the first woman to graduate with a master's of science degree in chemistry from the University of Hawaii. And in 1914-1915 academic year, she also became the first woman to teach chemistry at the institution. So this was she was the first woman, not white woman, not Asian woman, not just woman, period, to teach chemistry at this institution. And this was in 1914, 1915 before she died. So this stuff is important. We African Supremacy TV, we need to know this kind of stuff. Young black kids need to know that we wasn't just working for fucking white people. We wasn't just slaves. We wasn't just getting hosed down and marching. We should overcome. Man, we was actually in these labs creating stuff, making a better world for everybody. This is what the North American Negro was doing. And this is what I'm showing you guys, man. Because I'm sick of this nonsense, man. You know, we got these young rappers killing each other, not valuing human life, not having no value for their own lives, because we never ever taught them their history where they begin to value themselves and value our ancestors and value the history. This stuff is not taught. All major advisors assigned her to a research project involving the effect of chamuga oil on patients with Hansen's disease. Now, her research developed a successful treatment for those suffering from the disease. At the time of her research, Ball became ill. She worked under extreme pressure to produce an injectable chamuga oil, and according to some observers, became exhausted in the process. Ball returned to Seattle, where she died at the age of 24 on December 31st, 1916, according to her obituary. She suffered injuries from inhaling. I knew that's what it was, from inhaling chlorine gas during a class demonstration in Hawaii. So the chairman of the chemistry department at the University of Hawaii continued refining the research of Ball, treating many patients successfully at Kalapupapa, a special hospital for Hansen disease patients. The Ball method continued to be the most effective method treatment until the 40s and as late as 1999. One medical journal indicated that Ball's method was still being used to treat Hansen's disease in remote areas. So, and this is what I'm talking about. This woman, let me stop cussing. She died at 24 years old, y'all. She developed a successful treatment to stop Hansen's disease in Hawaii at 24 years old, man. And in the process of her developing this treatment, she ended up breathing in. I was saying that she hold on, at the Ball, she became ill of depression. She inhaled chlorine. It's saying that she inhaled chlorine and she died. You know, that could be true, or they could also kill her. I mean, who's to know? Because she actually developed something that was very groundbreaking, and people were stood to make millions and millions of dollars off of the treatment from these pharmaceutical companies. Get a hold of it, give treatments to people that was getting sick from Hansen's disease. The chairman of so then during her brief lifetime, Ball never received acknowledgement. Of course not, because they took it. They took it and they got all the acknowledgement for what this beautiful woman, this beautiful black woman, brought to humanity. During her brief lifetime, Ball never received the acknowledgement from the medical world for her y'all hear this? Groundbreaking work in the cure of Hansen's disease at 24 years old. Right. The information and videos are out here. We just have to we just have to present the information to our favorite channels and platforms. Well, what we have to do is we have to demand that we're going to watch you and support you, that you guys begin to teach our history. And if they don't teach our history, then you have to stop watching it. You have to put a demand on it, because best believe George is going to do it, because I see what's going on out here and I see what's not being done. So what I'm going to do every chance I get, I'm going to talk about our people and our history. And I want to create it where you can sit down with your children. Sometimes it won't be so late at night, and they can sit down and get this information. Oh man, she never worked for her groundbreaking work and the cure. After her death, the chairman of the University of Hawaii chemistry department received recognition. See, now watch this. After her death, the freaking chairman of the University of Hawaii chemistry department receives recognition. And this is what Peace Wax Dog, and this is what the white man has done for decades. I'm gonna read that. I'm gonna read this part right here one more time for y'all. During her lifetime, Ball never received the acknowledgement from the medical world for her groundbreaking work in the cure of Hansen's disease. After her death, the chairman of the University of Hawaii Chemistry Department received recognition. You see that? You see that? And this is what I'm talking about. And this is what I'm trying to tell you. We was creating all this shit. These bastards ain't create much of nothing, but they put their name on it. A lot of our people back in those days, after they created something, they mysteriously died. They turned up dead. Over time, researchers began to learn of Ball's crucial contribution. In 2000, the University of Hawaii acknowledged Alice Ball as one of the most distinguished graduates. Let me tell you something, man. Those universities owe her family billions. And we got to stand up and start demanding this. And the reason why I'm saying this, we would not have been subject to poverty had we got our just due. Forget reparations, family. We was at the groundbreaking of technological advances that generated multi-trillions of dollars that was invented by us. I've just given you three people that was at the forefront of over 200 patents, creating things to stop diseases, creating technological advances, creating synthesis and to stop glaucoma. We was at the forefront of all these things. Oh, I gotta drink some more water. We had the technology to stop glaucoma. We invented cortisone. We invented steroids. Our people did this shit. There's no reason why we should be in poverty. We was the one at the forefront of inventing this shit, and they put their names on it and stole it. We invented the microphones. We invented the technology for the fucking hearing aid. All this stuff that people use around the world. She made the vaccine for Hansen's disease, and the chairman took credit for it and probably made billions. They never gave her family a fucking dime. Man. Let's move on to the next brother. Let's go to George Carruthers. And I'm gonna pump every other night, man. I'm gonna come with this information, man. I'm gonna pump these people out, man, because they need to be heard, man. Scientist George Carruthers created inventions such as the ultraviolet camera or the spectrograph, which was used by NASA in 1972 Apollo 16 flight, revealing the mysteries of space and Earth's atmosphere. This was a black man, not a white man, not an Asian man, not an Arab man, not a Mongolian man, a North American Negro. The one who they said was deaf, dumb, and blind and out of his mind. That's who created this. The North American Negro. The one who they said they brought over here on slave ships and was enslaved and didn't have the capacity to do for self. That's who created this. Born on October 1st, 1939 in Cincinnati, Ohio, scientist George Carruthers built his first telescope at the age of 10. He earned his PhD in aeronautical and astronautical engineering at the University of Illinois in 1964 and began working at the U.S. Naval Research Laboratory. His telescope and image conversion was used to identify molecular and hydrogen in space, and his ultraviolet camera spectrograph was used by the Apollo 16 during the flight to the moon. Today, Carruthers teaches at Howard University. Early life. Scientist George Carruthers was born on October 1st, 1939 in Cincinnati, Ohio. The eldest of George and Sophia Carruthers, 4 children. George Carruthers Sr. was a civil engineer with the U.S. Army Corps. and encouraged his son's early interest in science. By age 10, the young Carruthers had constructed his own telescope with cardboard tubing and mail order lenses he brought with money he earned as a delivery boy. Carruthers' father died when the boy was 12. After his death, the family moved to Chicago, where Sophia went to work for the U.S. Postal Service. Despite the emotional setback, Carruthers pursuing science as one of only a handful of African Americans competing in Chicago's high school science fairs. He won 3 awards, including first prize for the telescope that he designed and built. In 1957, Carruthers graduated from Chicago's Inglewood High School and entered the engineering program at the University of Illinois Champaign-Urbana campus. While an undergraduate, Carruthers focused on aerospace engineering and astronomy. Right. See, this is what I'm saying. Again, we in these labs. I'm trying to tell y'all, we was the one in these labs putting in that work. After earning a bachelor's degree in physics in 1961, Carruthers stayed at the University of Illinois, earning his master's in nuclear engineering. And in 1962, and his PhD in aeronautical and astronautical engineering in 1964. Scientific inventions. In 1964, he went to work for the U.S. Naval Research Laboratory as a National Science Foundation postdoctoral fellow. 2 years later, he became full-time research physicist at the NRL's EO Hurlburt Center for Space Research. On November 11, 1969, Carruthers was awarded a patent for his image converter for detecting electromagnetic radiation, especially in short wavelengths. During a 1970 rocket flight, Carruthers' UV telescope and spectral path and image converter provided the first proof of existence of molecular hydrogen in interstellar space. Oh, no, wait a minute, man. And this is what I'm saying, man. There's no reason why we never was able to pass down generational wealth. We had a whole litany of ancestors that was creating things in these labs that generated billions of dollars for us, man. Right. Yeah, if you got an idea, don't mention it. Keep it to yourself. Carruthers' invention was used on April 1st, 1972, during the first lunar walk of the Apollo 16 mission. For the first time, scientists were able to examine the Earth's atmosphere. Now I'm gonna say this part again. For the first time, not second, not third, not sixth, for the first time, scientists were able to examine the Earth's atmosphere for concentrations of pollutants and see UV images of more than 550 stars, notable and galaxies, due to a black man, not just any black man, a North American Negro. This is, man, I get excited. When I read this, man. Carruthers was awarded NASA's Exceptional Scientific Achievement Medal for his working project. Man, look at this, man. Carruthers' UV telescope and spectral gap and image converter provided the first proof of existence of molecular hydrogen in interstellar space. Man, you gotta be freaking kidding me, man. In the 1980s, one of Carruthers' inventions captured an ultraviolet image of Halley's Comet. In 1991, he invented a camera that was used in the space shuttle in the space shuttle mission. Later years, Carruthers also extended his efforts to education. He helped create a program called the Science Engineers Apprentice Program, which gave high school students the opportunity to work at naval research laboratories. In 1996 and 97, he taught a course in Earth and Space Science for DC public schools science teachers. Then in 2002, Carruthers began teaching a course on Earth and Science at Howard University. In 2003, Carruthers was inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame for his work in science and engineering. Oh man, I just, I could say a lot, but I'm gonna move right on to the next. Where we going? Let's see. Yeah, let's go here. Let's go. No, let's go here first. Let's go to Valerie Thomas. I'm gonna show the picture of her on it when I go back, because they don't have a picture of her here. Valerie Thomas is an African American science and inventor best known for her patent illusion transmitter and contributions to NASA research. So she's best known for her patent illusion transmitter. Synopsis. Valerie, now this woman is still alive. Yawning like crazy. Valerie Thomas was born in May 1943 in Maryland. Thomas' interests in math and science were not encouraged until her college years. After graduating with a degree in chemistry, more chemistry, Thomas accepted a position at NASA. She remained there until her retirement in 1995. During that time, Thomas received a patent for an illusion transmitter and contributed broadly to the organization's research efforts. Early life. Valerie Thomas was born in May 1943 in Maryland. Fascinated by technology from a young age, Thomas was not encouraged to explore science. At the age of 8, she checked a book called The Boy's First Book of Electronics out of the local library. Her father would not work on any of the projects with his daughter, despite his own interest in electronics. Thomas attended a high school for girls and downplayed math and science. After graduating from high school, Thomas finally got a chance to explore her interests as a student at Morgan State University. She was one of only 2 women at Morgan to major in physics. Thomas excelled in her studies. She graduated from Morgan and accepted a position as a data analyst at NASA. Thomas grew to be valued at NASA. In 1970, she managed the development of the image processing system for Landsat, the first satellite to send images to Earth from space. Illusion transmitter. And in 1980, Thomas received a patent for an illusion transmitter. The device produces optical images via 2 concave mirrors, unlike flat mirrors, which produce images that appear to be inside or behind the mirror. Concave mirrors create images that appear to be real or in front of the mirror itself. This technology was subsequently adopted by NASA and has since been adopted for the use in surgery as well as the production of TV and video fucking cameras. Now again, why is the Black community poor? Did y'all just hear what they used this technology for that she created? Why is the Black community poor? Later career. Thomas continued to work for NASA until her retirement in 1995. During that time, she held a number of positions, including project manager of Space Physics Analysis Network and associate chief of the Space Data Operations Office. Over the course of her career, Thomas contributed widely to the study of space. She helped to develop the computer program designs that support research on Halley's Comet, the ozone layer, and satellite technology. For her achievement, Thomas received a number of NASA awards, including the Goddard Space Flight Center Award of Merit and the NASA Equal Opportunity Medal. Her success as a scientist, despite the lack of early support for her interests, inspired Thomas to reach out to students. In addition to her work at NASA, she mentored youth through the National Technical Association and Science, Mathematics, Aerospace Research, and Technology. So I'm gonna show you a picture of her because she doesn't have her picture is not on here. Let's see if I can get a picture of her real quick. This is Valerie here. You can see her right here, and She was instrumental in creating stuff. I'm gonna move on to the next person. Let's move on to Otis Boykin. I'll move on. Otis Boykin. Otis Boykin, noteworthy inventions include wire precision resistors and a control unit for the pacemaker. When he died in 1982, he had 26 patents in his name. So this guy was responsible for the pacemaker, and he died in 1982. He had 26 patents in his name. Synopsis: Otis Boykin was born on August 29th, 1920 in Dallas, Texas. He graduated from Fisk College in 1941 and took a job with the Majestic Radio and TV Corporation. He later worked at P.J. Nielsen's research laboratories. He began to invent products on his own. With some of his noteworthy inventions, including a wire precision resistor used in televisions and radios. Again, he created the wire precision resistor used in television and radios and a control unit for the pacemaker. And it's crazy that he created the unit for the pacemaker, but he died of heart failure in 1982. Early life and education. Inventor Otis Boykin was born on August 29th, 1920. 1920 in Dallas, Texas. After graduating from high school, he attended Fisk College in Nashville, Tennessee. Graduated in 1941. That same year, he took a job as a lab assistant with the Majestic Radio and TV Corporation in Chicago, Illinois. He rose in the ranks, ultimately serving as a supervisor. He eventually took a position with the P.J. Nielsen Research Laboratories while trying to start his own business, Boykin Fruth Incorporated. At the same time, he decided to continue his education, pursuing graduate studies at the Illinois Institute of Technology in Chicago. He was forced to drop out in 1947 after 2 years of education because he was unable to afford tuition. Let's go down. Inventions. Boykin took a special interest in working with resistors. Began researching and inventing on his own. He sought to receive a patent for a wire precision resistor on June 16, 1959. The resistor would later be used in radios and television. 2 years later, he created a breakthrough device that could withstand extreme changes in temperature and pressure. The device was cheaper and more reliable than others on the market. Came in great demand by the United States military for guided missiles and IBM computers. Why isn't this man a billionaire? In 1964, Boykins moved to Paris, creating electronic innovations for a new market of customers. His most famous invention was a control unit for the pacemaker. Ironically, Boykins died in Chicago in 1982 as a result of heart failure. Upon his death, he had 26 patents to his name. So you can look up the patents, and you'll look up Mr. Boykins, and you'll see his 26 patents. You look up Otis Boykin. So we'll go on to the last person. Make sure I got everybody. We go to George Edward Alcorn. He's George Edward Alcorn Jr., credited for the development of the imaging X-ray spectrometer. George Alcorn has a resume of as an impressive as those of some of the greatest Black inventors that have ever walked on the face of the planet, the likes of Lewis Latimer, Valerie Thomas, Patricia Balfe, and Amos Harrow. I gotta look up Amos Harrow, among others who have had great contributions to science and technology. He was born on the 22nd of March, 1940, to parents who were working class citizens. Alcorn was able to attend decent schools where he showcased his gifts when it comes to sports and academics. He was a good performer when it comes to books and sports. This led him to winning an academic scholarship to the Occidental College located in Pasadena, California. At Occidental, he undertook a BA in physics, again in physics, graduated in 1962. Afterwards, he proceeded to Howard University, where he earned his master's degree in nuclear physics in 1963. From the same year, he earned his PhD in atomic and molecular physics in the year of 1967. In his years of higher learning institutions, Alcorn worked for the North American Rockwell Space Division as a research engineer, where he showcased his impressive abilities in conducting computer analysis for launch trajectories and orbital mechanics for the company's missiles, such as the Nova, Titan 1 and 2, and Saturn 4 missiles. Upon completion of his doctoral degree, Alcorn got a job as a senior scientist, first with the Philco Ford, then Perkin Elmer, then IBM in 1978. He finally got employed by NASA. During his first tenure as senior scientist at NASA, he developed the imaging X-ray spectrometer. This device helps scientists identify a given material by making an X-ray spectrum of it, thus allowing them to examine the material visual. Wow. Why isn't this man rich? The technology became invaluable when it came to identifying materials which can be broken down physically. He got a patent for his method by fabricating an image X-ray spectrometer. In the year 1984, he was also cited for his invention's ability to use the thermal migration of aluminum. For these great technological feats, he was given the NASA GSFC Goddard Space Flight Center Award as Inventor of the Year. Although the climax of Alcorn's career was marked by inventions of the method of fabricating the X-ray spectrometer, he has more than 20 other high-profile inventions to his name and more than 8 U.S. and international patents. Some of these are mentioned below. The Gasso Skaky barrier photo responsive device and method of fabrication whose U.S. patent is 4,543,442 was issued in 1985. And he got the X-ray spectrometer in 1984. The dense, dry, X multi-level, man, these freaking metallurgy with non-overlap visas. And he got that in 1981. Some of the above mentioned inventions Alcorn invented in conjunction with other great scientists. Nonetheless, his great contributions attract numerous honors and awards from NASA that include the NASA Medal, the NASA Medal 1984, in recognition for his role in helping recruit minorities, recruiting minorities and helping out small businesses. GSFC Inventor of the Year 1984 for his invention of the first imaging spectrometer. So George Alcorn Jr. definitely goes down as one of the greatest African-American inventors whose contribution to science and technology became invaluable to the world. So let me share my screen. It's funny, you know, when you know, I probably have a whole room full of people when I'm on here and I'm talking to and I'm bringing the news and I'm getting hype, I'm turned up, and I'm talking about the drama and stuff that's going on. But when I come on and I talk about Black inventors, things that's essential to our growth and development, things that our ancestors brought to the table, like not many people come in because our people, we are so culturally ignorant, we don't want to hear our greatness. We don't want to hear anything great. We don't want to hear us talk about these great feats. It's just not something that we're into. And we're gonna have to change from this kind of stuff, man. When George go live with this kind of stuff, man, I should have 1,000 people in the room. We should be soaking up this information, man. Those that of y'all that's in here, man, put this on your Facebook page. Send it out to everywhere you can go. This information needs to, this is one of my most important probably videos that I ever made, because I'm actually showing our ancestors in real time doing real work, not being slaves, not marching to get civil rights, not getting hosed down, not begging the white man for nothing. It's showing us at the forefront of groundbreaking technologies. It's showing us that we was great despite what our enemies told us. It's showing us that our ancestors actually created something to pass down, but because some of our ancestors didn't teach us this history, we've been robbed of it. We are great people. The North American Negro spirituality continues to be sucked out of them, and we're actually feeding the planet through science and technology, through entertainments, through athletics, everything. The North American Negro. We push the buttons, man. So I hope this information was good to the people. Those that y'all that will see this video, I hope that you put it on your Facebook page and you try to send it out and let it go viral. Now remember, I pray to the most. I love my people more than they hate themselves, and I pray to the universal creator, Most High, that these words be enough to inspire you. These words be enough to make you look at yourself in the mirror and make change. These words be enough to make you look at your children and know you have to make change. I hope this information was enough to make you sit down with your children and tell them about these people. Let them see this video. That's why I try not to cuss so much. I gotta work on my cussing, man, because a lot of these videos, our children need to see this information. I hope that I hope that this was enough. I hope this is enough, man, to make you start picking up a book and researching what the North American Negro did early in the 1900s, man. So remember, I love y'all. To the next time. Peace.